Hi friends, today I am going to tell you a story about an Australian physician, Dr. Sigmund Freud, as he is popularly known as. Now, he extensively did his research on human psychology based on the research work of three important people that we had discussed in the previous video, and these three people were Darwin, who studied about the human evolution, the Mendel, who studied about the human genetics, and the Ivan Pavlov, who studied about the conditioned reflexes. Now, the research work of these three people developed an interest in Dr. Sigmund Freud to study or relate these three things, that is, the human evolution, human genetics, and the conditioned reflex, science of the conditioned reflex to manage the behavior. This led him to develop a thing that is referred to as the human psychology. Now, this work or the initiation of this work and the development of his interest, Dr. Sigmund Freud's interest in human psychology, influenced other people, and soon many people joined Dr. Sigmund Freud in the research work of studying human psychology, and there was development of a lot of theories of human psychology. So that is why Dr. Sigmund Freud is popularly referred to as father of modern human psychology. And this led Dr. Sigmund Freud to develop a theory, and his theory was based or was referred to as the psychoanalytic theory or the psychosexual theory. So this theory was developed by Dr. Sigmund Freud in the year 1905. Now, the basis of this theory were three important concepts that laid the foundation of this theory. These concepts were the free association, the archaic discharge, and the third was the conscious and the subconscious mind. So let us understand each concept one by one. First, coming to the concept of free association. According to Dr. Sigmund Freud, whatever the human brain is thinking, it should come out directly in the form of words, irrespective of however the word would be vulgar or anything that is not acceptable. But still, if the human brain thinks of anything, it should directly come out as a word or as a speech, and without any second thought of retaining it. So this is referred to as the free association. Now coming to the second concept, archaic discharge. Now Sigmund Freud believed that there are two types of neurons in the human body: the phi neurons and the psi neurons. The phi neurons consist of the emotions that are there or concerned in the human body, while the psi neurons is mostly the storehouse of these emotions. So all these emotions are stored in the psi neurons, that is the storage of these emotions. However, if there is an overflow of these emotions, like if all these emotions are overfilled, then all these emotions will start flowing out immediately, and this outward flow or overflow of these emotions is referred to as the archaic discharge. Now let us come to the third concept. The third concept of his theory was based on the conscious and the subconscious mind. According to Freud, he believed that there are two elements in human mind. Now according to Freud, the human mind is just like a piece of an iceberg that has three different parts. One is above the surface of water, and the second part is below the surface of water. Now what he said about the human mind was that the part that is above the surface of water, that is this part is referred to as the conscious mind, and it reflects the conscious experiences, and the much larger part or the lower part that is this part, which is a larger lower part, represents the unconscious part or the unconscious mind, which is the storehouse of impulses, passions, memory, inaccessible memories, we can say, that affects our thoughts and behavior. Now, when we talk about this, conscious mind is what you are aware of at any particular moment, or it can be said that this is your present perception of memories. Or for example, we can say that if you are somewhere, like if you are just studying on a table, then you know, if you have something like to write, you have a pen or a pencil, that then that present situation, you know that this is a pencil or this is a pen. So this is based on your learning experiences from the past, that you have stored it, and now you can easily perceive it at a present state, that this is your pen or this is your pencil. Based on that fact, you are conscious about the things, or you are aware of the things surrounding you. Now when we talk about these thoughts or these memories or these fantasies, there is also one very closely working state between this conscious mind and the unconscious or the subconscious mind, which is referred to as the preconscious mind. So you can see the space over here, I am marking it over here, I hope you can see this. So this is referred to as the preconscious mind. So basically there are three parts: the conscious mind, the unconscious mind, and a space of, or a very closely working area with the conscious mind is the preconscious mind, which is, we can say that anything that is basically available memory, memory that is at the time available, it is not stored deeply. For example, anything that can be made easily conscious, like memories you are not at the moment thinking of, but can readily bring to or come up to your mind. So this phenomena of Dr. Sigmund Freud is popularly known as the icebergs phenomena. Now let's talk about the unconscious mind. The largest and the most complex and the hidden part is the unconscious mind, and it is the source of information. For example, what we have learned throughout the years, or what we had learned like 10 years ago, that is basically stored in our memory in the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, and when we need to recall it, it comes to the mind when we wanted it. For example, you might have learned like in your primary classes, you learn about the alphabets or about the multiplication tables. Then if you want to recall that, you can immediately recall, because that knowledge is already stored in your unconscious mind. So this completes the third concept of the Freud theory, of the psychoanalytic theory. One was the freedom of association, second was that we had discussed was the phi and the psi neurons leading to the archaic discharge, and the third was the conscious and the subconscious mind. Now let us proceed this concept of the conscious and the subconscious mind, and on the basis of this he fabricated a triad which is popularly referred to as the psychic triad. So what is the psychic triad? So let us learn about this psychic triad. Now in 1923, Dr. Sigmund Freud, after his theory of psychoanalytic theory in 1905, he launched this psychic triad and made a tripartite structural model, or we can say a three-layered model of three things. So we shall layer it up into three layers. So this was a three-layered model where he distributed three things. One was ego, the second was id, and the third was super ego. So what this tripartite or the tri-layered model means to signify is, we are going to learn now. But what he hypothesized by these three structures was, in his theory, that to understand about the intrapsychic or within the psychic process, so this was referred to as the psychic triad. So let us study about the behavior behavioral influence of these three things, that is the ego, id and superego, that is the intrapsychic or within the human mind, what are the things that modify the behavior of the human being. So let us understand this psychic triad. So he said that our behavior is influenced by biological drives, that is the id. So id is responsible for the biological drive. For example, drive that drives us to have sex or drives us to have food, that is the natural drive that comes out, is because of the id. Then the second thing is the social rules, that is how the society is going to influence our drive. Then that comes under the superego. And how this process is mediated, or how our thought process is mediated based on id and superego, that is basically the driving control of this id and superego, that whether our drive should be completed or not. For example, our drive to have sex or our drive to have a food is controlled by the other thing or the mediated. So one thing, that is the ego. So basically ego mediates the thought process. Now let us understand this id, ego and superego in detail one by one. So when we talk about the id basically is like, for example, we can understand this as a child who doesn't understand what is right or wrong. If he needs something like a toy, or if he needs to watch a television show, then he wouldn't care that whether he should consult you or not. He would directly switch on to that television, or he would directly take that toy irrespective of that toy belonging to him or not. So we can say that it is the basic structure of the personality that is present at birth or as an impulse. So id is the basic structure of the personality. Now this id is present at birth, and when we compare it with a child, so it is like, for example, it is striving for immediate pleasures and gratification, and we can say that it needs the pleasure, it works on the pleasure principle, that whatever is needed now only, without thinking of or having any second thought. So we can say that id lacks the capacity to modify the drive, so it is basically a child. Now let us understand the superego. Now we can compare the superego to an adult human being who has a decision. For example, if he has or she has a desire, but he won't proceed with that desire or that pleasure principle only to gain his pleasure, but if however strictly he need that pleasure, but he will think once or twice about the society, about the people surrounding him. So we can say that this is the part of the personality that is internalized representative of the volumes of the signals of the society that are taught to the child by the parents and others. So it is basically influenced by the society. So basically the superego is not a decision of the adult himself. It is not driven by the pleasure principle or the drives from what the person seeks, but it is basically influenced by the society. Now let's talk about the third thing, that is the ego. Now ego can be said about the most adult person of the family, for example the grandfather. So we can say that it is like an old person or the head of the family, or the old age person or the grandfather example can be compared to grandfather. Now how ego works is that it is the part which is concentrating on the overall functioning of the personality. Like a grandfather is concentrating how the family should remain united, how it should work in a correct or the right way, whether irrespective of what are the principles the societies wants and what are the principles the selfishness or the human being or the family member wants. So he will look at both the things, the society as well as the drive of the family member, and come to a conclusion as to what is the best for a member of the family. So we can say that we can mention it that it works on the reality principle. So when the ego works on the reality principle, the basic meaning of this is that it utilizes both the ego defense mechanism and based on the memory, the past memories or the past experiences, we can say, based on the language, based on the creativity of the human being and the facts of life. This ego comes to a decision and controls both the id of an individual and the superego of an individual, and comes to a reality standing decision. So based on this, we can now say that this ego, what we are talking about over here, this ego leads to the expression of the id, that is whatever the id is expressing, and it can restrict the superego. So when we see the psychic triad in an iceberg model of Dr. Sigmund Freud for the conscious and the subconscious mind, so when these reference points are for the conscious mind above part, then the preconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind. So when we design the model in a psychic triad form, we consider this part as ego, that is the part that will come out from the human mind to the outside world in the form of speech, words or action, will be decided by the ego. So and the major part is formed by the super ego, and the pleasure principle is based on the subconscious or the unconscious mind. So now hope you are able to understand this psychoanalytic or the psychosexual theory given by Dr. Sigmund Freud in an easy way. If you still have any queries, then please do write in the comment section below, and I will be back with another theory in this section of psychology, child psychology. So thanks for watching this video. Bye bye, take care.